Session meeting, 6 o'clock, Thursday, September the 23rd. Our invocation tonight will be given by Commissioner Chris Arias, and our Pledge of Allegiance will be led by Mayor Pro Tem Todd DePlanter. Please stand.
In the name of the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Heavenly Father, we thank you for this day. We thank you for the gifts of life, friends, family, and love. Heavenly Father, we ask that you guide the City Commission of the City of Cary, Lord, that we make all decisions pleasing to you. For the sake of his sorrowful passion, have mercy on us and on the whole world. In the name of the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen.
I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Roll call, please, when you have time. Okay, we're a little fast here.
Mayor Litchfield,
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem DePlantis,
Here.
Commissioner Moya,
Here.
Commissioner Ganova,
Here.
Commissioner Arias.
Here.
Are there any considerations of changes or deletions to the agenda?
No, ma'am.
Okay. I would entertain a motion to approve the agenda as is.
Mayor, I make a motion that we approve the agenda as is.
Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Okay. Roll call, please.
Mayor Pro Tem DePlantis,
Yes.
Commissioner Moya, Commissioner Ganova,
Yes.
Commissioner Arias,
Yes.
Mayor Litchfield.
Yes. Next on the agenda is public comments. Are there any signed up tonight? Did you see any signed up next year? Okay.
No, I don't think so.
Okay, so we will skip that. Next on the agenda is the consent agenda. The consent agenda is approved by a single motion. Any member of the commission may request an item be transferred to the regular agenda from the consent agenda without discussion or vote. And we will be approving library board members, commission work session meeting notes dated September the 9th, approval of commission meeting minutes September the 9th, special commission meeting minutes September 15th, emergency commission meeting September 15th, and a permit for the use of the 5 Mile Park sanctioned disc golf tournament. First of all, on our library board members, we will be approving 4 members, and they are Melinda Turner, Nolita Anaya, Marjorie McKenzie, and Robert Howes. Most of these have been on the library board, except I believe for Nolita, and she's new, and we appreciate her volunteering for this. I would entertain a motion to approve these members of the library board.
Madam Mayor, I'll make a motion that we approve the, do you want a motion for the consent agenda or for the board?
For the board right now.
Madam Mayor, I'll make a motion that we approve the library board member applicants.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, roll call, please.
Commissioner Moya,
Yes.
Commissioner Ganova,
Yes.
Commissioner Arias,
Yes.
Mayor Litchfield,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem DePlantis.
Yes.
And thank you very much for volunteering to do this. Next, I'd like for you to approve the 5 Mile Park use permit for the sanctioned disc golf tournament.
So moved.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Roll call, please.
Commissioner Ganova,
Yes.
Commissioner Arias,
Yes.
Mayor Litchfield,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem DePlantis,
Yes.
Commissioner Moya.
Yes.
Next, I'd like for you to approve the rest of the consent agenda.
Madam Mayor, I'll make a motion that we approve the remainder of the consent agenda.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Roll call, please.
Commissioner Arias,
Yes.
Mayor Litchfield,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem DePlantis,
Yes.
Commissioner Moya,
Yes.
Commissioner Ganova.
Yes.
Okay, next on the agenda is ordinances and resolutions. This is resolution 2021-30, approval of senior citizen ICIP 2023 through 2027 documents.
Yes. Good evening, Mayor, Commission, Manager, City Clerk. What you have in front of you is the paperwork that we need to submit so that we can submit our ICIP, which is the Infrastructure Capital Improvement Plan for FY 2023 to 2027. This is something that is done every year. We have to have the ICIP in line, so when we do apply for funding, it's on this approved ICIP plan. Otherwise, most of the time you don't get it. So I would respectfully request your approval and happy to answer any questions.
Are there any questions from the commission concerning this resolution? There being none, I would entertain a motion to approve resolution 2021-30.
Madam Mayor, I'll make a motion, we approve resolution 2021-30.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
All the, roll call.
I'm gonna put Commissioner Villanueva as second.
Okay,
Mayor Litchfield,
yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Duplantis.
Yes.
Commissioner Moya.
Yes.
Commissioner Villanueva,
Yes.
Commissioner Arias.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next is new business, the agreement between the city of Cary and the Department of Finance Administration for the purchase of an ambulance. City Manager Martinez will be presenting that.
Yes, ma'am, this is probably my most favorite item to present to the commission in a while. All of them are important, but this is a lot of hard work and effort went into this one. This is an amount of $254,663 towards the purchase of the new ambulance, which we should be receiving very soon, hopefully within 3 to 4 weeks.
Yay.
Yay.
We were not able to get this as a straight disbursement, it's reimbursement, but it's fine. I've already talked to the finance director. We have a line item which will take that out, and as soon as we have made the purchase and the check is cleared, we'll provide that documentation to DFA and they'll get the money back into our account as soon as possible, so it's a wash. With that being said, I wanted to give the commission an update as well as the efforts to pursue a second ambulance. The original request that I provided to DFA was nearly twice this amount, is to purchase 2 ambulances. With that being said, I had a follow-up phone conversation with DFA today. They still said that's an option, but they'd like to see me repackage it and request a formal requesting a second ambulance. Even though I had done that previously, they want it specifically for one additional ambulance. So I'll be working on that next week to get that out. And at this time, I would stand for any questions. If not, I would please ask for your approval on this grant agreement.
Do I have any, commissioners, would you have a question?
All I can say is I'm very happy that the state jumped in and helped out. We didn't know that the accident was gonna happen with that ambulance that was in a wreck, if I'm not mistaken, was actually fixed, and it was the school that paid for the fixing of it. Is that correct? Or was going to?
I'm not 100% sure. I know our interim fire chief has been in communication with the superintendent, and I know he has been forthcoming with willing to pay for the 2 ambulances that need repairs right now. That's in the process. We've gone out to get quotes, and we know more or less what we need to fix those ambulances, and then again the school. So thanks to Mr. McKinney and the public schools for stepping up and helping us with that. But as far as the one that was actually involved in the accident, I'm not 100% sure. Not if
I think that was the one that broke in flow with, and they had put in the chip, and, you know, and they got it going. And I think the schools had to reimburse, to send the voucher. And the other question I have, I know we're discussing this, but I think it's a lesson. I know that the school, when they have a game, has to have an ambulance up there, and I think we charge them a small fee. I think the commission should think about waiving it, because of the fact is that they did spend some of their money to make sure that we, because if they're mandated to have some sort of medical care at the game, and I think if somebody comes to help us when time we need, I think we can also provide some sort of gratitude for the help. It's up to the commission, but I want to bring it up, and I think a thought. And I'm happy that things moved fast, especially now that I think we're done to 1 or what? Oh, we got the San Juan 1 though.
we're down to 1 right now, and you're correct, we do have 1 from San Juan. We're currently working with Presbyterian as well. Had great communication with Vicky Gutierrez at the hospital. She's reached out to some staff in Albuquerque. They will be providing an ambulance between 3 to 4 months on a loan basis. No payment to my knowledge, so it is just at our use as we need.
That's great.
So again, another effort, showing the teamwork and the community coming together to help
It really
fill
is.
this need.
I'm very happy the fact is that you also took a lot of time to get this thing, and I know that it paid off for us, because I don't know what we'd do with just 1 ambulance. If we had a major accident where we needed more than 1 ambulance, what are we gonna do? So anyway, as far as I'm concerned, I see everything in good shape. I don't know what the other.
Anybody else?
When do we expect to get this one?
This one here, 3 to 4 weeks, 3 to 4 weeks.
I know this is and this is for the public, because how long was it gonna take to get the new one, if we got a new one?
So a brand new build would have taken at least 12 to 13 months.
And how much?
Around the same price or a little bit more. So a demo, I guess the difference between a demo and a completely brand new ambulance is you have the option, they could pretty much customize it. We would meet with the vendor that's willing to purchase, or excuse me, sell the ambulance, and we say, well, we want these compartments set up this way, or we want this type of box, we want this kind of chassis. The demo, it's already pre-made for you, it's ready to go. And they have typically no more around 2,000 miles, just for the fact that it's a demo. They're showing it to other places. I've actually heard that the one that we were able to get the demo is actually in Rio Doso this week at the big annual fire conference. So it's about keep those miles low. We want to get that with the least miles. But no, it's nice. So, and again, the reason it's taking those 3 to 4 weeks to get it in our hands is the fact that we got to get the equipment on their outfit. So we got to get the electronic gurney on there. We got to get that stretcher on there. We have to get the heart monitor, make sure we have a new one for the ambulance. We have to make sure that the graphics with our names on there. We also have to go through the DOT inspection. There's a few things we have to line up to get this thing in service. But other than that, it's built and it's ready to go. And I look forward to getting it here in a few weeks.
Good. And I also want to reiterate that this didn't mean that we only had one ambulance in the whole county.
No.
The whole county, like the city manager saying, has pulled together and is working. We did have several ambulances. Unfortunately, I believe because of COVID, they've been getting a lot of road miles, which puts a lot of wear and tear. But I think a lot of the citizens need to understand that this wasn't, for lack of doing your basic maintenance. I don't think any of them were down due to the fact of lack of basic maintenance.
No, it was
Exactly.
computer chips.
Exactly.
Other stuff.
And I'm saying this because some people that don't come to commission meetings feel like they know so much about this that I think it should be pointed out that this wasn't dereliction of duty. This is just something that happened. We don't plan for, basic maintenance doesn't consist of accidents. But anyway, thank you for providing that information.
The computer chips, how are you gonna keep the maintenance on? You don't know. If it gets out, and one of them gave out in Clovis, one of the computer chips, and the other one, the computer chip gave here, and it was, and that's what it was, and there was delay in getting the chip. You don't maintain those things. It's not oil, gas, or anything.
Yes.
It's just plain, when they click out, they click, and nothing else works.
Well, we have truck checks. The EGMS crew is required each morning to do the truck check. That includes top to bottom, oil, antifreeze, fluids, you name it, tire pressure, the rest of the stuff they have with the medical equipment, make sure it's stocked in the back. So as things came up, like you said, we take it to the shop and try to be proactive to get the most out of that vehicle. It's not the fact that there was no maintenance being done or there's no money there for maintenance. Those are false statements.
There are, people talk sometimes just to talk.
Well, just to be clear, if I'm correct, San Juan has 2 ambulances or 1?
I believe 2, and we have one of them.
And then
Yeah.
Logan has
Has a few.
House has 1.
House, Quay Valley has
So-
one, so.
Then there was plenty out there, and I also want the citizens to understand that our city ambulances do run out to the county quite a bit.
A lot. They're the major runners, is the city ambulance. What really gets to me is the fact that all permits are countywide, that's what I understand from the corporation. And the problem is that you have to realize is, even ours is again, countywide. What happens is, even though those other ones have ambulance, but they don't have the crew on staff like we do, and that's why they get called a lot. We have to also understand is, the fact is, that's something that's almost like a humanitarian thing that the city of Tucson carried out. Yes, because our permit right now says it's countywide, but that doesn't mean that if we really got in a pinch and a crunch, we can go back to state corporation and only allow it to run in, get a permit just for in the city corporation. But right now, we like to be a good community and provide for all. So actually, all the runs that we give out of the community are really, if you look at it, it's in a very humanitarian way. Because they run constantly to San Juan, they run constantly to everywhere.
Yeah.
And up to the cap, constantly. And so actually, because we have the staff on there, that's where they get called, because the other one's a volunteer, you have to come in.
I just want to put that out there because
No,
I've
I-
talked this week and it really
Yeah.
set my skin on fire.
I appreciate that. Like you said, Commissioner, we go all the way to the state line.
I-40 to Lowry.
And you're correct. So through PRC, we are obligated legally to cover not only the city limits, but the county.
On our permit now, but we can go
Correct.
back, we can go back and get a permit only for they cannot leave the city.
That's
But we
correct.
won't do that, because
Exactly.
we do it very humanitarian. The other thing is, I mean, San Juan ambulance, I think we have to require stream pump and some other stuff, because but we're fixing it.
Correct. There's,
I love,
even this, our loaner ambulance, we've already had to invest some money into it because things have fell through.
We're happy that at least they loaned us. So I make a motion that we approve it.
Oh, okay.
And I'll second.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Sorry.
Roll
Let's get
call.
an ambulance.
Mayor Pro Tem Duplantis,
Yes.
Commissioner Moya,
Yes.
Commissioner Ganova,
Yes.
Commissioner Arias,
Yes.
Mayor Litchfield.
Yeah. Okay, next on the agenda is, city manager's report.
Yes, ma'am. So the first thing I want to, because I didn't realize we charged the schools, I thought we did that in-kind service, so I'll double check that just to be certain.
Oh, for the school?
Yes, because I know we have a
I know
similar,
I think we get a little fee out of it, I'm not so sure, but I think we do.
I'll
I
double
think
check
I
on
saw it on the budget one day. But double check that if you want.
The first thing I want to do is address some of the things from the previous meetings. We had concerns about our city street sweeper. We're in the process of making sure that's ready to go. I know the main place I've received concerns about, I know there's many throughout the town, is on Second Street. So we're gonna try to get that thing out there as soon as possible, to sweep up that loose gravel and sand and whatnot on Second Street, in the new Great Blocks area. The other was the netting at the street shop. That's gonna be on the list as well. We had also had a talk about mowing out near the animal hospital. That's scheduled to be handled tomorrow in the morning.
Okay.
Once that's complete, then we're gonna focus on the street sweeper, the netting, and then crews have also been filling potholes. Mayor, I'm sure you noticed we had the potholes situated over there on Sixth and Crutcher, so thank the crews for them being out there. There's also some concern about tree dumping being allowed at the landfill. I'm not sure if it was due to new staff or what happened with that, but I can guarantee you, I've talked to the supervisor for that department, and yes, tree limb dumping is allowed when the landfill's open. You will have to pay. Of course, it's not free like it's at Coronado Park, but we did set that straight. I wanted to remind all those to please sign up for story time at the library. That'll be starting in 2 weeks, so please get signed up for that. Also been busy. The last time we had talked, I was working with the EPA. There was a potential that we were going to receive an administrative order. That's kind of, I guess, the equivalent to getting written up or something that's not very good. There was no fine imposed, but hats off to Calvin out at the wastewater plant. He does a great job. With a minimal crew, with 2 people, it's amazing what he can do. So with that being said, I had an assumption, and he pointed me in the right direction, or we reviewed our existing permits, and we were able to highlight some fields and some things that we didn't agree with the EPA. Thankfully, I did receive a call from EPA apologizing that the city was correct, so that's good to know. We will not be receiving an administrative order. But with that, I'm not sure if that's what triggered it, but we now have an EPA inspection that's being conducted. So I'll be busy 2 days next week. It started today. It's all held virtually. We are in the process of phase 1. It's kind of the intro where they're talking about these are our results for the past year or two. We were last inspected in 2018. And it's talking about, okay, these are your monthly reads, these are your parameters. And then at the end of the meeting, they're able to relay, this is what we want to see by next week. We need all these reports, all this documentation, pictures of this, this, and this. So it's going to be a lot of work in a short period of time. We'll meet again in the afternoons of Tuesday and Wednesday. So I'll be busy with that. Had a meeting with Mr. Hockaday to discuss some things that he's wanting to do with the old ethanol plant. A great opportunity, I think, for the community on an economic standpoint, as well as potential for the city to help if there's some grant funding available. I'm gonna see what we can do to try to help out that and bring something great to the community. Also had the privilege to attend last night's Main Street meeting with the mayor. We were able to go through a walkthrough of the Second Street project. The state, I guess, I don't know, it's official, I say director of New Mexico Main Street was here, as well as one of his colleagues. I think it went well. We discussed the concerns with the concrete work. I believe that the director will be able to help us draft a letter and send a letter to the engineers voicing the concerns. And hopefully it carries a little bit more weight coming from State Main Street. I think at this point, we're looking at still requesting to potentially rip out the concrete that's colored. It's still, we gave the contractor an opportunity to remedy it. It's not satisfactory still, so I think the next step is to request that it's pulled up. On a positive note, once we started talking in the business meeting, and it was based on conversation we had through the walkthrough, it does appear that there are potentially some funds left over from this funding cycle that were not spent, or some of the other communities that were had allocated funds didn't necessarily, they weren't ready to proceed. So those funds may be pulled back and an opportunity where hopefully we're going to apply for another grant. The deadline's October 1st, so we're going to work hard and to try to complete that next block that didn't get the lighting, the irrigation and the landscaping. And we've been asked to please apply for that full amount, because there'd be a good possibility that hopefully we could get that phase of the project complete. So it's a complete package. It's not halfway done, or it's at now having to piecemeal it together with beautification grants to get the landscaping or something else to do the lighting. So I'm excited that there's an opportunity to do that. Also had the chance to meet with some of our legislators this week. Senator Campos, as well as Representative Castellano, who represents District 70 next to us, talking about some capital outlay opportunities, some needs, things that are going on in our community, and what potentially they can do for us in the future to help out. So I felt that was productive. Also wanted to congratulate the library board members. Thanks for volunteering your time. I know it's time's the most precious thing we have. It's usually spread pretty thin, so I thank them for what they're doing. And I believe that is it.
Thank you. Sounds like you've been busy this week. It's been a crazy weekend. All right, next on the agenda is remarks by commissioners. So I'll start with Commissioner Arias tonight.
Thank you, Mayor. I don't have much, Mark. I just want to go ahead and thank our road crew. I've received several phone calls where citizens have placed work orders with City Hall, and they've gone out and got their streets repaired. Most notably, that one right behind the Relax Inn. That road was completely washed away, and crews got in and got it bladed. So hopefully we can come up with some options to get them some new asphalt soon. But just thank you to the crews for cleaning up after that storm and getting the mess picked up. Thank you, Mayor.
Okay, Mayor Pro Tem DePlantis.
I want to thank all the library people that are hanging on that board. That's a good board. It's good for our kids, and it's nice to see the volunteers doing stuff like that. Only big thing I have is when are we going to see this ordinance coming, the cannabis ordinance come across this board?
It's already been advertised for the paper records.
It was on there. On the legal, I saw it on the legal.
Yes, it's in yesterday's paper.
So now it runs through that course advertisement period, and then we'll have the public hearing and second reading. Is it in October 14th?
Yes.
That's all I have.
Okay. Commissioner Moya.
Yeah, I have a couple of things here. First, I'm going to start with a letter that I guess some county residents as well, the Cary residents, have wrote to, they gave me, I got an email about 30 minutes ago, and they wrote to actually thank the people that really have helped us during this time of the crisis with the ambulance. And I guess the majority of them are from the county. It says, the grateful citizens of Cary, Clay County would like to express their gratitude to our governor, Michelle Lujan Grisham, for her speediest and quick response to the area need of a new ambulance. And then he goes up, upon learning that one of our ambulances was put out permanently, and that's the one that was wrecked, out of commission, the leaders of the community came together along with the governor to get the necessary red tape, paperwork, and financial help, decision, and et cetera, pushing through, which will result in a new ambulance for Cary. And then he goes on to say, without the cooperation from our leaders and Governor Lujan Grisham, compassionate and quick response, our community would not have the ability to respond to medical emergency situation where ambulance was needed. And then it goes on to the next paragraph. It says, we would also like to express our gratitude to other entities that jumped in and helped with the ambulance crisis. First, the Cary Public Schools, Superintendent Eric McKinney and the board, who provided emergency funds to help fix the ambulance to get them up and running again. We would also like to thank Presbyterian Hospital and Trig Memorial, and Vicky Gutierrez, the administrator, for lending an ambulance until the city receives their new ones or so. And the community of San Juan for lending us an ambulance. It says paid by a group of grateful citizens of Coy County. So that was, they sent me a copy of it in case I wanted to read it in the commission meeting. I'm sorry I didn't have time to print it out, or you all would have got a copy of it. So if anybody wants a copy, I can copy it. What they're gonna do, they're gonna buy an ad in the paper and put it in there. So, okay, the next thing I have is grant. It's been over 6 months or so that I brought it before the commission, and I think it is time again for me to bring it out and see if the commission wants to do anything. But now that we had all this problem with the ambulance, there was also other grants. There was another opportunity for another grant. But to be honest with you, Mark did an excellent job on that one. But the problem was that he had it. It was the day of Monday when the ambulance got wrecked, and DFA wanted all the stats and everything to get it done right away. And one of the things that I've been pushing the city constantly is to try and see if we can get a grant writer. Anyway, an opportunity came during that period of time. The good thing about it, I really want to thank Scott. He jumped in and helped Mark do it, and it was really a small time frame. I think they had like maybe less than 10 hours to get it done, or less, because at 5 o'clock or the next day was supposed to be submitted. Anyway, Scott, would you say anything about that movie or whatever it is that they're looking at doing some buildings or something? And also what they want is what they're looking for now too.
Yes, thanks, Commission. It's an actual reality show. It's a flip show that's interested in coming in and doing some houses. So we had a very short window to put together some interior and exterior shots. We got those done into a presentation and sent to them by the next morning. So it was very important time frame to get that done. I don't know a lot about what the final product will be, but we were able to submit that and we got good marks on it.
And now they're looking for what?
I think now there needs to be another presentation about talent, a possible talent from the community.
Okay, and that means what?
So I don't know, Mark knows a little bit more than I do.
So I don't want to get anybody's hopes up, but this is a very credible entity. I don't know if I'm allowed to say who it is yet, but it's a big time network television with a credible producer. There's an opportunity to potentially have $75,000 for 8 different properties to be renovated. We have made, I think, the next round. There are multiple communities that are being looked at nationwide. With that being said, the presentation that, like you said, Scott was able to assist me with, I typed up an email, sent it to them, and the main producer of this show said it's the best email they've received from a town, and they absolutely loved it. To me, that says a lot. They're really interested in taking care and they want to film here. Of course, there's some hurdles we'll have to jump through to make sure we get there. Received an additional email today that, I don't know if it would be an assistant to the producer or what her title is exactly. Also fell in love with the show and she's going to be pitching for Tick and Cary. So that means they obviously liked us enough where she's taking it to the next level. With doing that, they want to see, like I was saying, some talent here in Tick and Cary, some important and role models, I guess, people of the community that would be interesting and be able to be interviewed. So I'm looking forward to that. I'm gonna have to set up some kind of meeting, probably with the key stakeholders, maybe chamber, the city, the county, probably Main Street, all the key role players and a few others, I guess, and try to set up a meeting. They've asked for pictures and contact information. It's gonna be a lot again to turn around in a short period of time, but I'm hoping to link up with them next week. I know my schedule's pretty booked up already, but great opportunity to Tick and Cary if it comes through. But again, I just don't want to put it out there too much because I don't want to get people's hopes up.
Did they have any problem because they wanted 10 and we just could get like 3, you know? Because we call people and people were just kind of leery about it, you know?
Well, now that you brought it up, so I want to explain the
It was kind
importance.
of in a hurry and it's the only ones that agreed, we did.
I want to bring up some of the importance that came out of this conversation and meeting that I had with these producers. They brought up the whole concept, which we've been talking about for a long time with the mixed-use zoning. They talked about maybe they don't all have to be houses. They could be older buildings that are converted to living spaces into apartments.
Oh, like upstairs?
Correct. So it fits kind of with the theme with the Main Street area where you had the Loves where they lived above and had their business below. Same thing over there, like by the VFW. So I think it's a great opportunity for us as the city to come together and have these work sessions to discuss what can we do to really put this into motion, because if that's one of the check boxes that we're going to have to do to make sure this show comes to Tick and Cary, we need to be proactive and ready to go. So we may look at that next work session in October. I know it's going to be busy because we have the public hearing for the cannabis ordinance, but I think this could be a great opportunity for the city, not just in the Main Street area, but potentially on Route 66. And we'll have to discuss that, but I think it's a great segue to try to get that accomplished.
Scott, you must have done a good job because they wanted 10 houses and we threw them 3 because we couldn't get the permit. I mean, call people and they were scared. And so actually, you must have done a good job.
Well, I gave them alternatives because, you know, my specialty is adaptive reuse of buildings. So we gave them alternatives like gas stations, all kinds of different ideas. So we kind of branched out from the houses because we couldn't give them what they needed and gave them a lot of options.
Well, that's great.
And I made it clear to the producers that just because these were in the presentation, some of those buildings may not be acceptable. It's just an idea of what we have to offer. We wanted that cool factor, whether it's live and work out of an old historic gas station, live and work out of an old, like Kiva RV park, motel, apartment thing, live and play kind of over there like on 2nd Street by where Al Patel has his building. So it's stuff that's realistic and we could probably accomplish, but we got to figure out what the strings attached are. What do we have to provide through? But the first thing is trying to get past that process, at least get our name on that short list, and then we'll see how it turns out.
And actually, so that brings me to the point that I want to bring up again, and that is, we had talked about the possibility, and I need to bring it back to my fellow commissioners, about hiring a grant writer. Because if we hadn't had somebody volunteer, we would have lost this opportunity if it develops into a good situation. So I like to be able to eventually, if the commission agrees, maybe look at the possibilities to look at this grant writer kind of another, I don't know. I know, Mark, you try to save money, you didn't want, to do any administration. But to be honest with you, this is what I was talking about, this type of grant writing, whether it be for a grant writing with the state, or it be grant writing with the historical thing and all that. Actually, a good grant writer will pay for their own salaries. And I think this is a key example, and I think I took the opportunity now to bring it before our commission so that we can look at the possibilities of putting it back in the agenda and see if we really want it. I for one, want it. I think anything we can benefit from, and now with the Recovery Act and everything coming in, we should be there, we should have somebody just looking at it. You can't have the city manager try to do everything. And I think, and I know you want to save money in the budget, but the whole deal is a good grant writer would pay for itself.
Well, I mean, just my opinion, nothing against that proposal, but I think one of the things I brought up in a work session previously about the budget was, obviously I'm spread thin. I have 18 departments I have to oversee. And I felt it was a lot more conductive. There was a talk of getting an executive assistant to try to help out. There's a talk of having a grant writer. I think there's a way to get the best of both worlds and get me some help and find somebody with experience. We go out for advertisement, and I feel something more along the lines of community services director. To have me continue to work 18 different departments, that's stretched thin. So I think we could talk. I definitely like to have an open forum to speak about this, but if the commission was willing, there was some money set aside to the budget that I think we'd be able to have a community services director, something along that line, that would also benefit grant writing as well as overseeing multiple departments to help take some of the weight off my shoulders.
Well, I don't know, Madam Mayor, do you think we should put it on the work session for our next commission meeting?
I definitely do.
And definitely, we have to make a decision because we can be asking volunteers to burn their time trying to help us out. Because eventually we'll miss one that is a lot more in detail than just a quick, that. And so I think, thank you, ma'am, if you want to put it on the next work session.
Down.
I think we need to discuss this in depth. I think, like I said, a good grant writer would pay their own salary and still help the community go forward on what we need, you know? Okay, and then the next thing I would like to bring up on College and Magnolia is backing up again. Actually, that is a single, the sewer line. I wonder if you could get somebody out there to flush it again. What happens, that's one or two houses there, and it backs up real quick because it was built in 1968. And what happens, it only serves two houses. And I don't know if the Chinese elms or anything has gotten into it, but that's a sewer line that was actually built in 69, paid by the owners. And so if we can flush it again.
I can make that happen. I know we've had my days back with the water department in that specific area. We had places where we flush, we had a list. And they still do, they go around specific areas of the town. I will reach out to the water department and let them know.
Okay, and then I had a Miss Quintana on 2nd Street. I think it's 1100 block, 1115 or something like that. South 2nd, there's a house that has been kind of abandoned and has all the trees, and she's really scared of the fact is that the transients get sleeping there. And she had to board the part that faces her house on the 1100 block. I think she said it might be, it's all the trees on the front. I went and saw it, it looks pretty bad.
Is that the same one we've been talking about? No,
No, man, that's a different one.
okay.
And she's really scared because I guess she lives next door and she doesn't like the idea of people staying there for the night. I guess they have their own B&B, I don't know. The other things I'd like to ask the manager, and that is what's happening with the Maple lot. I think we need to hopefully sell it and they can throw all the trees and everything in there and the garbage, clean it up.
So,
Just going out by the airport.
No, right here on Maple Street.
Oh,
we had talked about it. I spoke with our city clerk to add it to the list, so I'm not sure how quickly the appraiser was working, but I think it was just last week, Monday, he finally came to town and we were able to relay the information to him directly. He had some confusion on the exact locations of some of the property. So I was able to show him on Google Earth exactly what we were wanting for another parcel. We've also mentioned that it's critical we get the one out at the airport, and this was one to be added to the list as well. So it's still in the appraisal process. Once that's completed, then we have to go out to bid or auction it's a fair process, but it is still in the works.
Okay, good, because actually we could, actually the city get into private hands. It will benefit us because then you have the tax basin taking care of it. This guy wants to build a home. And then at the same time, I mean, all those junk in there, like the trees and everything else that is being dumped on there, it's city property, and it's gonna take a lot of money to clean all that mess out. And let the owner, whoever buys it, clean it. So he's not getting a free ride on it, even if it's cheap. And
Do you know
so,
the exact address for that
he brought
property?
us the exact address, remember?
It was. I thought
He brought us what they call from the city.
It was
the
the
county.
Property profile?
property profile.
And we didn't even know we owned it. That's how interesting it is. And so if we can put it back on the tax rolls, I think we'd be better off. And the other thing on Maple Street, I'd like to spend some time with you where you have time, is ponding. I can't remember what street it is, and Maple, it's the first open street. Remember the lady from the library was complaining how the water was backing up?
Yes.
And I was looking at it the other day, and I noticed where there could be a drain address, because what's happening, when he ponds, it consumes down into the asphalt, and all the asphalt is really cracking. And that type of road should have not started doing that, because actually, if you look at it, that was built as a bypass for the trucks when they were building this thing here. And so, and I can, there's an option on there, because I think we can get a drain on it without too big of a deal. Okay, so whenever you have time, I'd like to be able to visit with you on it and show it, okay? And the other thing I have is, again, coming down to the COVID, take it serious. This is nothing to play with. I know people have attitudes, but that's okay, and I respect them, but at the same time, I certainly don't want to have another episode of having to go to a hospital, and I certainly don't want a new virus. You know, we already have the Delta, which is real critical. I'm telling you, we're paying the price pretty heavy. My sister has done now 31 days at Presbyterian, still in the vet. So and she's a healthy lady that was active, everything else. She just happened to be at the wrong place at the wrong time. And like I tell you, be careful. I got mine in 2 minutes. And it could be traced and tracked back, even though all the girls at the office are really strict. I allowed somebody in there without a mask, who was infected, wind it up, created a problem for me. This ain't nothing to play with. Even you have your beliefs, fine, but also respect other people. Thank you. That's all I have.
Okay, Commissioner Villanueva?
Yes, ma'am. I've got a few things. On Main Street, I guess by the cheese factory, there's a empty load. These people are complaining about, they go east or whatever, and the bushes are too tall and stuff.
On Main Street, is it looking towards the east, on the south or north side of the street?
It's on the south.
South side.
Yes. And then I guess somebody's been dumping some old furniture and stuff down there by the old,
Yeah.
really sign company or something.
Oh, yeah, that's a dump.
Yeah.
I was wondering if we could do something with that.
The old VFW building, that's one out east?
Mhm. Oh, yeah.
Is it on Whitmore or something?
Yes.
That sounds about right.
Because somebody's keep throwing tires everywhere.
I know. Somebody's putting tires behind the dumpsters in my neighborhood.
When I bought the Cooper cleaners, they had the whole napkin full of tires.
What I'll do is I'll reach out to code enforcement and see what we can do to try to get that stuff resolved.
That property in there belongs to the city now, right? I remember it used to be.
Or it's a county, I mean state, because remember it used to be highway, so it might be state.
The one by Rudy's signs?
To the city.
The one by Rudy's signs?
No, you know, remember the old highway, they used to go 54, and then they built a bypass? So that's what he's talking about, right in that area, where they have that fence, where they put it to have their property in the back.
I don't believe we have that, but I'll double check to see if it is. If it's city property, then yes, we need to clean it up, but either way, if not, then I'll reach out to
If
try
it's
to get it.
state, send them a note.
Another thing, I guess we approved some raises today. I guess employees hasn't got their raises or something. %.
Yes, sir, we did approve some raises. We had talked about or at least internally, about waiting until January. That's when, the reason we went up with the raises because of compression. And January is when the minimum wage goes up, so it was only fair if those receiving minimum wage are getting raised, the rest would get one at the same time in January.
And we approved that, how far back was that?
That was approved back, when we approved the budget, so that would have been,
And actually, it was very clarified that he had to start January the first, not defending anybody, but we did make that notice on that work session. We did that on the budget.
but yeah, so that's still the plan, that's still gonna happen. It's approved, so it's going to happen, and just waiting for when minimum wage went up January 1st of 2022.
Another thing about these rundown hotels and stuff, the old truck stop, can we actually get the people to clean them up or something?
So we've attempted through code enforcement, in regards to the old truck stop, that's actually tied up even at a state level to the environmental department. The Ortegas own that. The issue again is trying to get the state to enforce what they can as well on the contamination side. When it comes to code enforcement, we definitely can. But yeah, I've heard that's also tied up with the environmental department, trying to get them to attack.
Another thing, how about the solar panels? What's going on with that?
The solar project that I brought up,
Yeah.
again, we're waiting on the appraisal. So I have 2 or 3 different companies that are interested, and I actually have a meeting with one of those next week.
Somebody said that we lost one of them to Logan. I guess they want to put one up to Logan now.
I don't know, I haven't heard of losing anything. I've still talked to at least 2 companies that are interested.
Actually, we didn't.
We didn't.
That's about it, man.
Okay, thank you. Right, on mine, I would like to thank the 4 people that applied to the library board. We appreciate our volunteers, and I will get a thank you note written to each one of them when I get home tonight. So, also, Alex, I'd like to thank him for Sixth Crutcher. I went down there, Daisy and I walked down there yesterday morning, I think it was, when they were working, and the man that lives there on the corner, I think it's Tony, yeah, he was excited that they were out there fixing it, so we visited for a while. Clara, thank you for all your hard work on the senior citizens, we appreciate that. Scott, at the chamber, has called me this morning, and we were talking, so I will be calling a meeting of Princess Theater pretty soon. He's working on a project that will kind of help us, and so I'm kind of waiting till he gets that kind of under control. He wants to be on that board.
Oh, the task force?
On
Great.
the task force, and so we'll be I'm trying to have a meeting in October. So,
Did Senator Thomas say anything about the princess of the day?
no, I don't think so.
Okay, I just wondered, because he did mention to us that there was some kind of money over there.
And I wanted to remind everybody that at 10 o'clock in the morning, there is a ribbon cutting at the Love's, used to be Love's Appliance Store for the new owners. Robert Markine, I think it's Robert, isn't it, that bought it.
Is he gonna be here at Second Street?
Yes.
Same-
Right, same place, same location.
Oh, because I saw it all cleaned out.
Yeah, well, he got new appliance stuff in, he had to get rid of everything and start all over, so we're gonna have a ribbon cutting in the morning at 10 o'clock.
I'm glad you said that, because I was thinking it was today, and I thought I missed it.
So, anyway, everybody come out, we're always glad to see our local young people come back in and buy something and start their own business. I think he and his family are gonna live upstairs, so it'll be good to have that occupied again. Thank everyone for coming. We're excited about the new ambulances. You know, I imagine most of you too have bought demo automobiles.
Yeah.
And got good mileage and didn't have any problems, so I'm excited about
Especially for the
that.
price.
And thank everyone for all they do. Remember, when we have guests in town, we're showing them downtown and the things we're doing, and you drive by and yell out rude things to our city manager, our commissioners that are showing them properties that they're trying to help us get money for. You're not hurting anybody but our city. So you can vent and sound rude, but it doesn't do anything but then make them stop and think, do I really want to come here and help these people? So you know, if you have a complaint, we understand you do. You can call any of your commissioners, city, but when we've got people in town trying to help us better our town, please be a little more coots and not yell out ugly stuff. That's just ridiculous, I think.
What is that then?
Last night.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so anyway, when we had the Main Street people here and they were showing them all the buildings down there that we're trying to do, we had a man drive by and yell some real ugly things to our city manager. You know, we're doing the best we can with the money that we have, so be patient with it. It's kind of like everything else. So thank you, Mark, for all your hard work. We appreciate everything you're doing. Thank you to all our city workers. Again, they're working with a limited amount of people, and we appreciate them. And Helica and the girls in the office, we appreciate everything y'all do too. So I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second,
I'll do.
roll call.
Oh my goodness, that's too quick. Commissioner Moyle?
Yes.
Commissioner Villanova?
Yes.
Commissioner Arias?
Yes.
Mayor Litchfield?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Duplantis?
Yes.
Can I come by in the morning and sign?
Absolutely.
I just,
See if no one matters away.